The Metropolitan Transport Corporation in Chennai has equipped 500 city buses in Chennai with CCTV cameras and panic buttons, particularly for women to enhance women's safety. And any woman who presses this button would immediately get a bell alert in the bus, and simultaneously a 30-second footage would also be transmitted to the control center, and the conductor would immediately address the situation. If required, the control room would also alert the police so that it can be sorted. And these CCTV cameras, in fact, come with artificial intelligence technology and what they call as facial recognition technology. And this, they say, would help the police in particular to trace missing children and even criminals, wanted criminals who may be taking these buses. I spoke to the Transport Secretary, Dr. Gopal, and with me, Dr. Gopal, the Transport Secretary. Doctor, thank you very much for your time. Yeah, what happens when a woman passenger presses this panic button, sir?
In fact, as you already rightly mentioned, that there are the panic buttons there. As soon as somebody presses it, immediately there would be a buzzer. It's almost like, alerting everybody that, something is. And immediately that gets into the video recorder system there. And immediately gets into the cloud system, and it gets into the command and control system located in the headquarters of the Metropolitan Transport Corporation. So which will be automatically linked to the the special the numbers which has been allocated for earmarked for to develop a network with the police and all. So it automatically gets into the various systems, and which will be shared by all the officers with the field people, and the officers with the police and so it's almost like it's a complex web of information sharing. It becomes a very nice the database to identify what's happening where and all.
The video gets recorded, is it?
Video gets recorded, and video continuously get recorded. And if somebody is actually pressing the panic button, 30 seconds prior to pressing the button, whatever the developments had happened in that bus, in that place, would be automatically gets recorded in the central the system. So it's all. So if somebody wants to actually know what exactly had happened before the individual press the panic button, so everything would be captured, analyzed, and it would be shared with appropriate agencies.
And from the control room, they call the conductor. Is it? What all information they get when somebody presses the button?
In fact, obviously, every bus has got a specific number, and every bus will get a specific code. And all these details would be automatically, conveyed to the command and control center. So, which will be shared with appropriate officers. So, it gives a bus identity, obviously the crew identity, and the other whatever the visible features within the bus, and everything would be recorded in that.
The bus crew details. There could be one conductor yesterday, one the next day. Does it get automatically changed?
So basically, since we have most of the buses are almost well equipped with the GPS system, and also recently we brought out we got into this the Chennai the bus app and all. So that itself would actually give a clear clarity, who is who are the crew members and all. That is almost part of the crew management system.
Right. If a woman requires police help, how soon will there be police help, and how does it work?
In fact, it has to be absolutely an emergency response system. So the police would act quite fast. And as soon as the information is reached there, so immediately they would put their systems on alert mode. So it's some sort of a deterrent. It's also a very nice emergency.
Who informs the police if there is a need for police intervention?
Yeah. In fact, the entire information is transmitted only through the system, and command and control center is manned by the experts. the people and who analyze every data, and immediately they share the relevant data with all the systems involved in that.
So somebody speaks to the person who pressed the button?
And depending on what exactly the say, if I think bus has already been stopped and the already crew has been already made aware of this issue, then obviously the individual would be approached by the crew, and that sort of the resolving mechanism will be in place.
And I also understand you have the facial recognition system. How would this help? What's the purpose behind this?
After 3 cameras we have, two are having a facial recognition system. So that gives a, the more micro profile of the individuals traveling in the bus. And whatever those, developments had happened prior to pressing the button, that also would be captured. So if a suspicious character, if a suspicious individual, I think that sort of the systems are possible through this.
There could be accused who are escaping from the police. There could be people who kidnap little children. I mean, does the facial recognition system help in identifying?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think most probably initially, I think the idea is basically to identify, what's happening, and how we can immediately, get into the system and maybe alert the system or rescue or help, create a very very safe and secure system in the bus. But I'm sure it would be a good feedback mechanism also for the policing system. It's the way of the.
Give us an example in detection of crime. How will this help?
I think this particular point has been discussed with the police recently, and the Greater Chennai city, the corporation, the police commissioner, and so myself will be again discussing on this issue. I think most probably, I think a few experts will be, working on this issue to take it further. I think this is going to be a classic, the initiative from both, the transport corporation as well as from the police. So the modalities are getting worked out.
So this artificial intelligence system could help in detection as well as investigation.
Yeah, I think that's what exactly I think our the expert says, and so we are working on the the modalities now, the micro modalities.
At the moment, 500 buses have been installed with this. What's the long-term plan? Will it also extend to, say, long-distance buses?
Our idea is to cover about 2,500 buses in Chennai city limits, which covers even Chennai suburbs too. In the course of time, we want to cover the system in other metropolitan cities, namely Madurai and the Coimbatore, and the cities like Tiruchi. As far as the and we have a lot of buses, run by the state express transport corporation. We call it MUFSL buses, the long journey buses. Where yes, we'll definitely create the system, but it will have a limited applications.
Right. Private?
I'm sure. I think the transport commissioner has to work on this. Most probably, I think this is it's a jurisdiction.
What's been the response so far, sir?
Response has been good, and people are appreciating this initiative of the government of Tamil Nadu through our the Chennai Metropolitan Transport Corporation. So obviously, I think people are really, I'm sure, as per the feedback, I think it's a good system, and it actually, gives a confidence levels.
Any complaints of harassment or like that during travel by women?
Oh, not so far. I'm sure. I think, but I think this system also should act as a deterrent.
Right.
Other than meeting the requirements of emergency response system and all, this also acts as a deterrent.
Although, are there any concerns of possible intrusion into the privacy of passengers?
I think there is, as far as the CCTV cameras or the other systems which we have installed in bus is concerned, definitely it won't intrude into any of the privacy related matters of the individuals.
The footage will not go to any third party leading to blackmail or things like that?
No, it's definitely it's confined to the systems, and obviously it's absolutely no one will have access to this unless the police authorities in a specified cases based on certain events and all. So there is no way of sharing this data with anybody. And so we have that sort of data, the storage systems also. We can also recover it as and when we require during through the recovery process.
Lastly, hundreds of buses. Does the department have enough manpower and expertise to process this and to preserve this?
Yes, in fact, we have already finalized the agency, and through the agency we'll be taking a manpower on outsourced basis, and it will be run round the clock, and there will be a series of desks created, and all the desks will be running on the turn duty basis. So this is what exactly I think we want to take it to the logical conclusion.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. And that was Dr. Gopal, the Transport Secretary of Tamil Nadu, talking to us about the introduction of CCTV cameras and panic buttons in Chennai buses. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find the TV.